Fans of the channel know that I love Halo Reach. It is objectively my favorite game in the Halo franchise, thanks in large part to its fantastic campaign. Its characters are well written and the action enormously entertaining. But today I want to discuss a different aspect of its glorious cutscenes: cinematography. The angle and movement a camera takes in a video game cutscene can help convey the emotion of a story and suck the player into the struggles a character faces just as well as a movie scene. But videos that explore this idea are few and far between. Therefore, I am taking it upon myself to link the two mediums for both gamers and movie fans so that each can get a better appreciation of what goes into making a scene work. And what better place to start than the first Visegrad Relay scene from Halo Reach. While the first official level of the game is one long cutscene that introduces the team to us, the true foundation of both the story and the characters are the Visegrad scenes. But the first one focuses on making the player feel like they are personally involved in the story. If you have never played Halo Reach, for context, our team has been sent to investigate a damaged communications facility. We fight our way to the facility and enter in the front door before carefully moving through the dark areas looking out for threats. Eventually, we will find a body of a dead scientist in the control room. This is where the cutscene starts, and this is where we will begin.
Where's the rest of your unit?
We got split. I don't think they... It sounded bad on the comms.
All right, Corporal. Stay put. We'll get you a combat surgeon.
Damn. Plasma damage.
Found something.
I'll take that, 6. Not your domain.
I got a live one over here.
Our first shot is a point of view shot. Here we view the beginning of the cutscene through the eyes of the character we have been playing as. This is a helpful transition for the audience, or in this case the player, since it allows us to carry over the emotions and mindset we were feeling prior to the cutscene's beginning. The movement of the camera is known as random movement. Random movement can literally be anything. A pan, a zoom, pull out, push in, anything can technically be found in a random move. What makes it random is that there is a feel that the camera is trying to capture the moment while being in the scene itself. You see this movement a lot in documentaries or mockumentaries as the cameramen and women don't know what their subjects are going to say or do. They have to be ready to capture the moment and the scene as it develops. You will also see it a lot in found footage horror films, which will be important in this scene shortly. What it does for the scene is aid in the idea that we are living in the moment and anything, good or bad, could happen in an instant. We see Carter helping a down soldier, Kat inspecting the equipment, and our POV character finds a device. The randomness aids the POV angle in putting our emotions and our consciousness in the scene we are experiencing.
Come on.
This is the first time since the start of the mission that we will actually cut away from our POV shot. And it comes directly after hearing George shout out that he found a live one. This jarring cut and declaration immediately puts the player or audience on alert, and the angle and camera movement that follows aids in that. The camera movement you're seeing is known as a push-in. Push-in shots are used for two very specific things. First, to draw attention to a subject or location and point to it and say, this is important, focus here. Second, to draw us into a character's mindset and connect us with their thought process, but that won't come up until later. The push in here is drawing our attention to George, who just announced a potential danger and who will be the primary focus of the next shot. This camera angle is known as a long shot, and its main benefit is being able to establish the location and build visual depth. Here we see Kat and Noble 6 about 7 meters away from George, too far to be able to immediately assist him if, say, I don't know, an alien jumped from the ceiling and tried to stab him. The long shot also establishes George's physical dominance over the survivor and the setting. This is also the first time we have gotten a look at that side of the room, and it will be important in about 20 seconds.
It's all right. We're not gonna hurt you.
Shot 3 sees us using a low camera angle. Low angles are useful for making a character seem powerful and or inspirational. It gives the impression that we are literally looking up to this person. Both of these are fitting for George, who, as a Spartan 2, is essentially a living weapon, and as we will see in the next scene, is the heart of the team. However, this shot is also doing something else for us, and that is highlighting this big open space here to the right. It is aiding in establishing the location. Again, we are using random camera movement that makes us feel like this is an event that is actually happening and being captured in real time.
George.
I got her.
Here we go back to this long shot that is reinforcing the idea that the other Spartans are a good distance away. It isolates George and the survivor in the frame and shows us that Carter is no longer assisting the injured soldier on the other side of the room. It also highlights the big open area the best of any shot so far. Look at the lighting in this scene. This is a common lighting pattern in films and movies known as a checkerboard pattern. Here it goes dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, and the two largest lit up areas have nothing in them. It is like the setting is begging to be filled here. This camera movement is known as a pan. Pans can be used to follow a character, reveal information, or direct our attention somewhere else. Here it is being used to reinforce our attention on George. The shot is showing us that Carter has joined Cat and Six in the center, but it doesn't want to distract from what is really important. The pan left allows the audience to acknowledge Carter, but remain focused on George and this survivor.
Keep still, and I'll release you.
And here we go back to this low shot with random camera movement, but something I want to point out is the tilt up. This is showing the verticality of the scene, and it is the first indication given to us by the camera that there might be something worth looking at above what you can see in the frame.
Keep still, and I'll release you.
And there it is, the reveal of the aliens, what the scene has been building up to for the last 4 shots. The zealot hops down from some location off screen into the open space that has been established by the camera angles and highlighted by the checkerboard patterns. And it quickly established itself as a threat by forcing the physically intimidating George into cover. Something else that is cool is what the woman says in Hungarian is meg itt vannak, which, according to Google Translate, means they are still here. You see George register this as his head pops up. It is a short, subtle visual cue that crap is about to hit the fan just before the aliens jump down. Here in shot 6, the music kicks in to really jumpstart the adrenaline rush, and here we go back to our previous long shot to show the scale of the new threat. However, notice that it is at a lower angle than the last time we had this long shot. The last time we saw a low angle shot, it was of George, and it gave us a sense of how physically powerful he is. Now we get a sense of how powerful this new threat is by both the angle of the shot and the fact that George, the previously powerful figure, is crouched down before it, trying to shield the survivor with his body. The random camera movement again aiding in the feelings of chaos and that what we are seeing is really happening. Also focusing us on the danger by adding a push in just as 2 more zealots drop down.
Over! We've been engaged!
Shot 6 was a moment of shock. It established the threat we are about to face, but now it is time to collect our wits and get back to the fight. Shot 7 will begin that process by again using a POV angle and random camera movement. Crucially though, the POV angle is not from the character that we will play as after the scene, but from George, the character that shots 2 through 5 were focusing on and whose spatial position in the location is well known to us by now. The random camera movement pulling us into the scene more and more, but also highlighting the chaos our protagonists find themselves in. As the zealot moves to attack the other Spartans in the center, George's POV reminds us of the door on the far side of the room where the soldier was, and that will be important in a minute.
Bad guy coming out!
That Tango group has me. Permission to pursue.
Negative 4, stay on the entrance. 2, handle her. 5 and 6, clear the hole.
Now we have come full circle. Shot 8 is another POV shot, but we are back in the body of our player character, the same one we started the scene in. Again, random camera movement like we see in most of the other shots, giving us that feeling that this is really happening to us right now, in this moment. We get to see our character protect themselves from being stabbed and punch the zealot in the mandibles for attempting it, and we get back to the fight alongside our teammates as the aliens begin to retreat. Now we feel firmly re-established in the driver's seat of our character as we form a firing line with Carter and Kat. As Carter orders us and George to pursue the aliens, the cutscene ends. It is no accident that it is our character and George either. These are the only two characters who had POV angles in the entirety of the cutscene, and they are both the ones selected for the next scene since the audience is now connected to both. That is the scene though, and I think it managed to do 5 very important things. First and foremost, it is a very well put together action scene. The shots do a great job at establishing the location so the player doesn't get lost in the chaos. Second, it transports the player into the scene through its use of POV angles and random camera movements. This transportation allows us to feel the tension, shock, and determination of the characters as if we are really in the room and holding a rifle. This is indescribably important in connecting us to the story. Third, it builds the foundations of George as a character. The low angle shots show him as someone we can look up to, someone who will have our backs. This is important because after this cutscene, our character will fight alongside him against the zealots, and the cutscene at the end of the level will build off this foundation and firmly establish him as the heart and soul of the team, kind of like everyone's big brother that they can always call on for help. Fourth, it presents these zealots as a credible threat by using the low camera angles like they did with George and forcing George to take cover from them. Additionally, notice how the team has to work together to fend them off. No Spartan is able to take them on one by one. And finally, it establishes the competency and composure of Carter. The team leader is able to warn Emil of the first zealot, push the second off of our character, slide us our rifle, and give clear commands to the men and women under his team to bring about a desired outcome. This is important to establishing his character and our character's relationship to him moving forward. But before we move on, let me just play the full scene for you all, uninterrupted by my babbling.
Where's the rest of your unit?
We got split. I don't think it sounded bad on the comms.
All right, Corporal. Stay put. We'll get you a combat surgeon.
Damn. Plasma damage.
Found something.
I'll take that, 6. Not your domain.
I got a live one over here. Come on. Out you come. It's all right. We're not gonna hurt you.
George.
I got her. Keep still, and I'll release you.
What's the status? Over!
We've been engaged! Bad guy coming out!
That Tango group has me. Permission to pursue.
Negative 4, stay on the entrance. 2, handle her. 5 and 6, clear the hole.
I hope you all enjoyed this video. I would love to do more of these in the future, so let me know in the comments section what movies, television shows, or video games I should take a look at. As I said earlier, I love this game. It is one of my favorite video games of all time, and this scene really goes a long way into setting the foundations of the characters. If you did like the video, please give it a like to help us out in the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For Fairly Critical, I've been Jacob. You guys have been such a blessing, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Nice work, by the way.
I aim to please.